Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're on to the release drafts. What I like to do, especially early in the format, is start with Swiss. Just you get more rounds of practice, you get more interactions with more cards, so I think it's wise, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to. Anyway, if you don't know my draft system, what I do is I play Swiss, and if I win the Swiss, then I move up to 8-4, and if I make it to the finals of the 8-4, I keep doing those. But if I lose in the first or second round, then I go back to Swiss and repeat. So we open Displacer. I've had a couple commenters mention how awesome that spell is. Is it worth anything? Let us find out. Dun 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 dun. Wow, it's worth a fortune. All right, well, I was going to take it anyway because they said it was a fun card, but 6 tickets right now. So yes, we are taking the Displacer. What else is in here that's good? Boulder Salvo. I actually really like Vampire Envoy. It's played really well for me. I like it. Hedron Crawler, Translator, Displacer, starting her off. Glade Heart Cavalry. What do you do? 7 mana, 6/6, support 6. What the? Whenever you creature you control the +1/+1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. It's pretty cool. What do we have in white? No Into the Battlefield abilities. I do have to admit, Displacer with Glade Heart Cavalry is pretty cool. Just keep exiling it and getting... Well, this is dirty because you can do it to your opponent's creatures too. Yeah, that's actually really filthy. Seems super versatile. It does make it come back tapped, so it doesn't work as well for you, but it still works pretty well. Like, you can't... They use a removal spell on their turn, and then you blink it, and it comes back tapped, so you can't block with it. But it still is, like, protecting, which I think is good. Do I just want to take Glade Heart Cavalry? It's a 7-drop. It's only a 6/6. It does have support 6. The ability's cool. Otherwise, I could take Ondu War Cleric or Spawnbinder Mage. These are pretty good, too. I think we'll take the rare. It's a 7-drop. I'm not blown away by it, but ooh. Possibly immediately rewarded here. Seed Guardian's one of the best green cards you can get. Certainly better than Scythe Master. And I love Baloth Null, but I'd still like to live that dream of playing Displacer. I mean, I could just take Baloth Null. This definitely seems like a card where you could splash. But then again, Seed Guardian's really good. This card is really good. 4 mana 3/4, when it dies, you at least get a 1/1. But it constantly changes depending on how many creatures you have in your graveyard. This card's insane. It just, you get a 1/1, right? But it's XX, so X just constantly changes depending on the creatures you have in your graveyard. This card seems great. It's like a, what's the 2-drop mythic from, I'm not going to get the stupid name, whatever it was. A green and a white for a 2/2, and they can't cast spells on your turn or something. Yeah, I hope that narrowed it down for you. All right, can take Netcaster Spider. We don't have a white pick. Well, I guess we do have a white pick. We have Searing Light. I'm not in love with Searing Light. So far, I have not been blown away by Searing Light. I do like Netcaster Spider. It's a good card. We already have a Reach, but that's not a big deal. Reach just buys you time. I do like Dwar Isle Avenger. I'm not in love with green-blue. Green-red could work. There is a Chitinous Cloak, which might be good. Get a little 8/8 menace. Press into service. Seems pretty good, actually. Crumbling Vestige. How good is Chitinous Cloak? It's a little bit clunky. But maybe Netcaster Spider. We'll take the Cloak. I haven't gotten to try it yet. It's probably one of the better equipment cards. It's also colorless. Oath of Gideon. So give me 2 guys. That's going to work well with Glade Heart Cavalry. Is this permanent? Just creatures. Okay, there's also Shoulder to Shoulder. There's also Hedron Crawler, and there's Saddleback Lagak, which is good. Someone said the pronunciation is probably Lagak and not Lagak. But come on. We're dealing with not a real word here, right? I assume. Oath of Gideon. So I either go for 2 allies, which is pretty good, and then, you know, Planeswalkers, extra loyalty, whatever. or dude who supports. I mean, Oath of Gideon we're not going to see as much of. But Saddleback's pretty good. 3 power and buffs other stuff. We'll try out the rare here. Whatever. Saddleback's common. This is rare. Try it out. Walker of the Wastes. Okay, that's decent. Pulse of Marasa. We have a combat trick here. Vines of the Recluse. We do want a lot of creatures to be able to support. Could take Stalking Drone. I do like Core Sky Climber. Any Enter the Battlefield effects? I guess not. Sky Climber's actually pretty good. Yeah, I guess we'll take Sky Climber. I like white potential flyers, plus it's an ally. We'll take it. Stoneforge Acolyte. Well, I mean, technically we do have a Chitinous Cloak to find, but I do not think that card is all that good. Scythe Master is not bad. We might actually just want the Tranquil Expanse. Typically you end up with a... I'm usually not short on playables, so taking a land that actually fixes seems pretty good. Pulse of Marasa is okay, not amazing. Vines of the Recluse is actually pretty good. It's a pretty good trick for 1 mana. I could take the Vines. I gotta try out the Vines. I'm gonna regret not taking Vines if it ends up being pretty good. I think it's actually a pretty good trick. Okay. Well, Canopy Gorger and Bonds of Mortality are pretty unexciting. I guess we'll take Meandering River. That potential blue splash. Lead by Example. Haven't gotten a chance to try yet, but I guess we'll take it. Not insane, but nor is Mighty Leap, so alright. Guess we could take Canopy Gorger. Not a very exciting 6-drop, as you might imagine. But I guess it could be good with Chitinous Cloak, maybe? Oh, whatever. We'll take Lead by Example. Okay, Elemental Uprising. Might be playable. It's like a 3-mana instant speed blocker or attacker. It's okay. It's not great, but maybe it is good. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't even seen it played yet. I think everybody's kind of on at least thinking it's not that great, so... I mean, it must be blocked. There's certainly situations where it might be good. Lead by Example 2 or Natural State. Guess we could take the sideboard. I doubt I'm going to play multiple Lead by Examples. All right, Tabled Searing Light. It's playable. It's just not super exciting. Oh, Hedron Crawler, 3rd to last, is nice pickup. And we got the Vines of the Recluse. All right. Is this card not good? I'm pretty sure it is. 1 mana +1/+2 reach and untap. Yeah, I mean, you're getting a lot of bonuses for 1 mana. I definitely remember the 2 and a green +2/+2 and untap was playable. This is 1 mana, 1 less power. And I think that's it. It's 2 less mana for 1 less power. It's pretty good. All right, could take a Raptor. We have the Path Warden. Path Warden's probably a better threat. Loam Larva finds lands, including wastes, which we don't have yet. We don't really have a need for... No, I guess we do. We need colorless for Displacer. We don't really... I mean, what's our Displacer synergy currently? Not much. We've got a Gladeheart Cavalry. It still is good, though. I mean, it protects you from... It does protect from removal, and it turns off attackers. It's a pretty versatile ability. I think we're going to take the Path Warden. Not a hyper exciting first pick, but it's a strong card. I've played with it and against it and been pretty impressed. I think it would actually be stronger if it was a 4/5, which is odd since it's got trample. Isolation Zone, now there is a good pickup for us. Going to take the removal here. Passing Scion Summoner, which is something we actually really want, but cannot pass the Isolation Zone. Get in the zone. Isolation Zone 2, they're going to keep coming. I'm going to keep taking them. Great card. Passing a Baloth Pup, which actually looks good in this deck. Core Scythe Master, which is fine. Warden of Geometry's also fine. Probably pretty good with the Cavalry, ramps you, and Vigilance, good support target. But zone number 2, definitely the pickup. Okay, a bit of a miss here, huh? We have the blue splash capability with Meandering River. I guess I could take Negator. Otherwise, it's another Elemental Uprising, which I'm still not really feeling. I just want to experiment with it right now. I don't know if I necessarily want to play it. Guess I mean, I could take Negator. I'm not passing anything of substance besides Elemental Uprising, which I don't think is going to make the cut. I doubt Negator makes the cut on the splash, but it's just nothing else here anyway. Could hate a Reality Hemorrhage, I guess. But we have a river. Maybe we find another one. I don't know. We'll find out. Isolation Zone 3. Well, like I said, I'm going to keep taking them. It's a bit color intensive, but it's a lot of isolation zones. All right, well, now we're officially creature light. So let's change that. I guess we'll take Stalking Drone, which currently not that good, but we have Hedron Crawler. We can find some more colorless lands, I'm hoping. If you get the colorless lands to support it, it's pretty good. We don't need a third Vines, I don't think, and a second Searing Light is worse. Yeah, we're just going to take the drone here. Okay, we can take Raptor now. We can take a second drone. I don't really like the Harvester Troll all that much. Probably pretty good with Blister Pod, but not really worth it. Could take the Raptor. Still a bit expensive, and we're creature light. Might just want drone number 2 and then start focusing on colorless. I do like Raptor, but we're already looking a little bit mid to late game heavy. We definitely want a lot of creatures to support this cavalry. We'll take the drone. So now we really want to get some colorless sources here. All right, guess we'll take a third one. That's a late Reality Hemorrhage. But, I mean, we're definitely down the rabbit hole of green-white by now, which is fine. We have good green and white cards, so it's not that it's a big deal, exactly. I don't really like Stalking Drone, though, unless we can actually get some colorless to support it. But like I said, out of pack 3, we can prioritize that pretty high and be fine. I wish these Guildgate lands tapped for colorless. That would have been nice. All right, we'll take the Raptor now. Seems fine. Support is good. I don't think Negator is going to happen. Just not worth it. This deck still looks fine. It looks like it's probably 18 lands. But we, like I said, we're in pretty desperate need of colorless sources now. Triple Stalking Drone. These are just going to be awful if I can't find... All right, Tabled Scion Summoner is great news for us. Definitely taking that. At this point, pretty hesitant about lead by example. I'd rather have Vines, I think. I think +1/+2 reach on tap is way more versatile than lead by example, even though you get permanent buff from that. We really have, like, I guess technically, I don't know if I can count Elemental Uprising as a creature, but Oath you can count as a creature, so that's still pretty good with support. Could have had a Saddleback Lagak. We did not end up getting another one. Third Vines? Who knows? Maybe Vines is straight up just more main deckable than Searing Light? Could be. None of these cards matter. We're going to hate them off cause like I'm just not going to play Iona's Blessing. Not worth it in my mind. Does this kill any of our guys? I guess. I just don't care about Abstruse Interference. Bonds of Mortality. Probably good with the Surge deck, but Green Surge, I don't know if that makes sense. All right, well, we're okay, actually. We're absolutely going to be able to make a deck. We have some powerful green and white cards. Ooh. Feldar Sovereign and Return to Emeria? Jeez. Super strong cards in here. I got to take the Sovereign. This card's amazing. Now I just wish we had more ramp. I think Uprising's not going to make the cut to this deck, most likely. We are looking for colorless lands, which means I got to keep an eye, even if they're off color. Yeah, I guess, does that make sense? Like Blighted Step and the Fen. Blighted Fen. I would still play them, absolutely. But yeah, we're not going to pass a Felidar Sovereign. That card is very powerful. Ooh, slap a little Chitinous Cloak on there. Little 6/8 Vigilance Lifelink Menace. Pretty good. Okay, we have a Lumbering Falls. Is that worth anything? I know it's being played in like, or is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe no one cares about Lumbering Falls. There's Blighted Cataract in here, which I might take. Actually, I can also take Pilgrim's Eye. I can also take Kozilek's Channeler. Channeler is another creature. It also gets us colorless mana. I probably just want that. Hope to wheel the Blighted Cataract or find another one. Pilgrim's Eye is good too. But Kozilek's Channeler is more in line with our Stalking Drones, I think, and even more so than Blighted Cataract, even though Cataract does not take a slot in our deck. But we're still going to take Channeler here. Myria Shepherd? What? Yeah. Well, can't pass that. Going to take it over Reproach, even though Reproach is good. Myria Shepherd is nuts. Yeah, that card is really good. All right. Well, our deck is looking nice. Let's cut the lead by example. Okay, I guess we take Sheer Drop, get another removal spell. Could take the Lifespring Druid. Does not add colorless mana, however. Probably want the removal. We have 3 isolation zones, but no other removal. I think we can probably end up cutting a Vines for a Sheer Drop, probably. Seems fine. Not seeing any more colorless lands could equate to a problem. McKindy Patrol. Courier Griffin's better. Yeah, I guess we take the Griffin. There's Territorial Baloth too, but I like Griffin. I think it's a good card. Minor synergy with Felidar Sovereign. Alright. Touch of the Void in there too, which is nice, but taking that. At this point, I want to start cutting the Stalking Drones. They just do not look... We have a Hedron Crawler, a one-time use effect with Scion Summoner, and Kozilek's Channeler. I guess I'm going to start cutting a Stalking Drone. We have like 15 creatures with Oath of Gideon. Still attempting Chitinous Cloak, hoping it's good. What do we got now? Felidar Cub, which is good against us. Good against opposing isolation zones, but I feel like we snatched all of those up. Currently, Felidar Cub looks probably better in our deck than Stalking Drone does. Sad as that is. We don't have a Waste. Ondu Greathorn's another 4-drop, which I don't love. We'll take the Felidar Cub. At the very least, it's a sideboard option. Angelic Gift. Not in love with that. Ondu Greathorn. Probably don't need it. Could just hate something here. Probably the Vampiric Rites. This card can be very, very good in the right deck. I'm not going to play Earthen Arms. Although it is kind of cool with the +1/+1 counter synergy of Oath. But we don't have too much of that going on here. I guess kind of with Gladeheart Cavalry. Whatever. I'm going to take Vampiric Rites. The Druid Warcaller, super late. Well, getting a gift. We don't have much in terms of allies, right? We've got Core Sky Climber. Ooh, Oath of Gideon to Druid Warcaller, some good synergy. Path Warden's also an ally. Cavalry, I kind of expected Cavalry to be an ally, but it is not. So we don't have much for allies, but Warcaller's insane. Definitely going to take it. We got to make some cuts now, which is a good problem to have. Probably don't need another Cub. I guess we'll take Plummet for the sideboard. Can be good. It's also good against us. Inspired Charge seems irrelevant. All of these kind of seem irrelevant. Could take the Swell of Growth. I don't like it nearly as much as Vines. I don't think I'm going to play Inspired Charge when we've already got to Druid Warcaller and all this other stuff. Whatever. I guess I'll take Earthen Arms. Call the Scions. All right. It's actually a card our deck wants quite a bit, since it works with... I think at this point we're probably just not wanting to play Stalking Drones. Do have Infuse, but which is okay, but we want the Call to Science here for sure. All right, Lifespring Druid, we're going to take and play. So I think we're just off of the Stalking Drone plan. Well, the nice thing is we ended up wheeling a bunch of playable cards, so we don't have to play the Stalking Drones. The bad news is our deck looks a bit slow without them, but they're just not that good in this deck. Probably don't want the McKindy Patrol either. I guess it works with the Warcaller, though. That's interesting. Probably still going to play Displacer. 3 mana, 3/3 at the very least is pretty good. So just need to make a couple cuts. Ways to get colorless mana. We have Crawler, which is renewable use. We have Call to Scions and Scion Summoner, which is more like one-time use. We've got... Channeler. Not bad. All right, so we have to make 3 cuts. Maybe we just cut the Vines. Possibly a better sideboard card. I don't like Felidar Cub that much either, but we're definitely starting to get on the slower side. I just don't want to play Stalking Drones in here. I'd rather play Felidar Cub, I think. But even that's not a very good main deck. We can always sideboard into these if we play against something that's hyper-aggressive where they'd actually do something. But I think for the most part I'm going to be unimpressed. Let's cut the Cub. We really don't start till 3, but when we're running 18 lands with a bunch of ramp at 3... kind of wish Displacer was a little bit better in this deck. It's good with Cavalry. It's not that good with Shepherd. It's good with Warcaller. There you go. Okay. It's actually amazing with Warcaller. Instant speed, exile it, return it, pump everything. Yeah, that's pretty insane. We have a good amount of ramp too, right? Crawler, Call, Lifespring, Summoner. It's like 4/3 drop or less ramp effects. That's not bad. We have some life gain too, right? Courier Griffin. Felidar Sovereign is good at that. Maybe we just cut the Vines. I like the Vines. I think this deck presumably doesn't need them. I guess we'll find out. How do I stop flyers? Well, I have Core Sky Climber. I've got Guardian. I've got zones for flyers. Courier Griffin. Raptor. Shepherd, removal spells. Yeah, I think we can handle flyers. All right, guess this is the deck. We didn't end up with any Converge, right? Otherwise, Meandering River, I guess, could get in, but I don't think that we did. So we really have like, what, 16, 17 creatures, if you include Sheer Drop and Oath of Gideon. Oath of Gideon's a 3 mana, 2/1/1 allies. Not great, but we do have Warcaller, Raptor, Cavalry, which is decent, and Chitinous Cloak, I guess, to a certain extent. It's not bad. All right, I guess this is the deck. It looks okay. We got some really cool rares, which I like, but our early game is pretty not that good. Pretty not good. But I think this is how we got to run it. I mean, I guess our removal is pretty good, considering we're green-white. They typically don't have great removal. We have like 3 isolation zones and a sheer drop, which is actually pretty good. We have enough ways to win, too. I mean, that's certainly not the problem with this deck. We have Pathwarden, Warcaller, Channeler, Raptor, Sovereign, Shepherd, Calvert. Like, our top end is very good. Our early game, we just don't start until 3. Like, Hedron Crawler is so huge in our deck. All right, this is the deck. We're actually more color intensive than I'd like to, but, I mean, we have no colorless mana besides our, like, you know, Crawler, Channeler, Call to Scion, Scion Summoner. Definitely a lot of double white, but a significant amount of double green. Probably want to do something like 10-8. 10-8's pretty good, actually. 8 should be enough to see play our 7 green spells, I would think. And 10 white lets us almost assuredly land those turn 4 isolation zones, which I'm pretty sure we're going to need. I don't want to do 9-9, I don't think. I think 10-8's fine, actually. All right. So if I were to rate this deck out of 10, we have a lot of bomby rares. We have some pretty good removal. We have enough ways to win. What's the weakness of this deck? That's a good question. Okay, no early game. That is definitely a weakness. So in those cases where it comes down to hyper aggro, we've got the stalking drones we can bring in, as well as the Felidar Cub. I've kind of found this format so far to be kind of grindy. Actually, we might just want to play Searing Light. Maybe this is a better sideboard card too, though. It's probably a pretty good main deck, but oh, this is fine. All right, yeah. If we play against Hyper Aggro, we'll sideboard into more cheap spells, and we'll probably get off the like Raptor plan. I'll figure out something else to cut it. Probably Chitinous Cloak. We'll end up cutting Chitinous Cloak, Raptor, and like something else. And then we'll just bring in like a Cub and a Drone, or a Searing Light and a Cub and a Drone maybe. It seems okay to me. So 16, 17 creature deck. And we've got some tokens to support onto. Yeah, this deck's fine. Rating out of 10. I'll give it a, well, we have a lot of pretty powerful top end. With some good removal. I'll probably give this deck a 7 out of 10. If we had some 2-drops that were a lot better, I'd be a lot more comfortable with this deck, but we're just slow enough where I feel like in certain matchups we can get steamrolled. So I think 7 out of 10 seems about right. Even though we have powerful 7-drops, they are 7-drops, which are not super easy to play. We got a Displacer, which is powerful, but we just don't have a ton of means to use it, which could also be a problem. So, all right, 7 out of 10 deck here. Green-white, mid-range. We'll see you around 1.